Futures trading involves a substantial risk of loss and may not be suitable for all investors. Therefore, carefully consider whether such trading is suitable for you in light of your financial condition.
Good morning. It's Friday, January 30th. I'm Phil Streible, Chief Market Strategist at Blue Line Futures. So maybe a little CTA month-end profit taking is going on, as well as some of the headlines here with gold and silver collapsing as the dollar rises on Fed nominee. Trump just came out on Truth Social saying that he's nominating Kevin Warsh to be chairman of Board of Governors for the Federal Reserve System. He said that Warsh will go down as one of the great Fed chairs and Warsh will never let you down. So he stated this. And, the market reaction here, bit of a sell-off, bit of a consolidation, but the markets are well off their lowest levels here across the board, with some of the markets recovering from those earlier losses. You do have three different market segments that are green on the screen right now. It's the dollar index. It's also the 10-year treasury yields and also the volatility index. So it's not just gold, silver selling off. It's a risk-off sentiment across the board with all the FX currencies down, all your agricultural products, your cryptocurrencies, your energies, your stock indices all selling off here, but well off those lowest levels, which is important. Now, the average true range on gold jumping up to $150 an ounce, silver at $7.77 an ounce. And you look at the precious metal, the ETF flows, where the ETFs are selling gold, silver, platinum. They're buying palladium here. So you look at those total gold held by the ETFs here. It rose 1.5% this year to 100.5 million ounces, and gold is up 25% this year. They did cut 120,000 ounces of gold in that previous trading session here, and that daily percentage change down about 0.1%. Now you look at the silver market here, they're continuing to liquidate from the ETF standpoint. ETFs cut 7.44 million troy ounces of silver, and it was the biggest one-day decrease since October 16th. Sixth straight day of declines here, and the longest losing streak since October 29th. Year-to-date total ETFs declined 4.2%, dropping about 1% overnight. The gold-silver ratio popping on up here, hit about 51-1 as of the recording, and then dipping a little bit down here to 50-1. So futures are kind of consolidating as of this moment here, right around 5,100 on the gold market, 101.50 on the silver market. You got copper at 606. Copper hit the top of the trend line that we were looking at, right around that 640, 650 range before giving up its gains here. One thing about the markets is you look at the global destruction if we had some kind of renewed conflict with Iran, as far as people tend to hunker down, and that's where you saw copper futures when some of these escalations were going on and some of those headlines. That's when we saw prices give back, not only in the U.S. equity fronts, but copper and things like that. Copper is a great indicator of global growth. You saw the arrival of a U.S. aircraft carrier strike group to the Middle East gave Trump this new, more forceful options to carry out threats in an attack on Iran, and the choices carry some serious risks of retaliation from Iran as well. So that was what really caused part of the sell-off yesterday as far as copper and U.S. equities, as well as some of those earnings that came out from your Mag 7. Now, the precious metals miners, they are tumbling in a pre-market trading here, extending Thursday's losses as gold and silver are down, but again, recovering as of the recording. You look at the broader macro markets, well, the stock futures, they are retreating as the Trump administration prepared for Kevin Warsh to be nominated. It was really clear that he was getting nominated because of the fact that Trump stated this could have been someone who was qualified for the job a few years ago, and that's where you got the hint that it was somebody that he knew and was close and respected here. So the S&P 500 futures down about 0.4%, NASDAQ down 0.5%, Russell down just under about 1%, but again, well off the lows. You can hear me say that multiple times here. So the choice of Warsh for Trump's nomination to be the next Federal Reserve chair is kind of viewed as hawkish, other than the other contenders here. And he's long viewed as an inflation hawk. His the prospects, they kind of ripple through the market of him being appointed. We saw the dollar gaining against all the different peers. We saw treasuries fall. We saw the long end of the curve all rising. Again, that 10-year note up about 0.2%. And then you look at the earnings. So shifting gears to earnings, out of the 155 companies that have reported so far, 78% have beat the analyst forecast, 16 have missed. You look at some of the things that are coming out here. We're going to have Chevron, ExxonMobil, American Express, some of the companies that are reporting before the bell here. And then you will have PPI scheduled, also Chicago PMI. We'll have ISM manufacturing for January. You're going to have two Fed speakers coming out and talking, and the markets are now anticipating a 15.3% likelihood of a 25 basis point interest rate cut at that March meeting. April is like a 31%, but I'll have to check it here as soon as we get a little bit more digestion direction as far as Warsh being appointed. So the dollar index, since that news, coming off a bit here at 96.28. You got the euro currency 119.62. WTI crude oil futures, which got a lot of that geopolitics bid here recently, 64.93. So still remaining a bit elevated here. And then also looking at a potential breakout to the upside here if a conflict escalates. Now you look at other markets here. We saw European stocks, they rose. We saw Asian equities, they fell. With tech really delivering those broader declines, dollar index making new lows, you're probably going to see gold and silver pop, which, yeah, it's already rallied about $2 off the lows since we've been talking here. The MSCI Asia Pacific Index falling as much as 1.2%. So you guys got any questions here, shoot an email at info@bluelinefutures.com. Remember, futures and option trading does involve risk of loss, may not be suitable to all investors. Good luck, good trading.
Futures trading involves a substantial risk of loss and may not be suitable for all investors. Therefore, carefully consider whether such trading is suitable for you in light of your financial condition.